Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Scorpio, October 12, 2022. Early today, you may be dealing with minor troubles connecting confidently with others. It can be challenging to see reputation and professional matters clearly, and confusion over where you're ultimately heading could affect personal relationships. Even so, relationship issues that reach ahead today also get you over a critical hump, and the rest should be uphill. In other words, it's a turning point. Also today, Mercury moves into your sector of home and family and will continue to influence this part of your solar chart until the 29th. Mercury recently spent some time here but then backed up due to a retrograde and didn't have a chance to complete its transit. Going forward, you'll get the opportunity to resume conversations and projects or plans with family and those related to house and home. Projects might gain momentum now. It's an excellent time for doing some deep thinking and renewing of old methods. Mental Mercury, our planet of the mind and communication, has re-entered your solar fourth house of home, family, domesticity, and real estate. This means that you and your significant other may be signing important contracts now or in the weeks to come around one of these themes, especially if you're planning a renovation, relocation, or deciding to buy property. With Mercury in an air sign, you will have a strong head on your shoulders, bringing you logic, strategy, and insight. Talk with your one and only about all of the details and assess how you'd like to proceed. Do you feel at peace with your work and life balance by now? Today, Mercury will re-enter Libra and kick off the second half of the post-shadow period. During this initial ingress, you should think about what you need to instill or nip in the bud to feel at peace with your work and life balance. Aside from this, Mercury in Libra, along with Venus in Libra opposing Chiron retrograde in Aries, could encourage you to focus on your need more than anything. It might be best to retreat during these transits to ensure that you feel self-assured. A friendly aspect between the Sun and Saturn comes at an important time for both. At the same time that the Sun moves into his final 12 days in your home and family sector, Saturn moves into his final 12 days in retrograde motion in your financial sector, with the solar spotlight shining on both home and money matters today. It's important to your wellness to pay attention to your subconscious. There is a lot that goes on under the surface, and you'd rather know about it than not know about it, right? One way to keep abreast of your unconscious fears and desires is to keep a dream journal. This is easier than it sounds if you've never kept a journal before. Simply carve out 5 to 10 minutes every morning and sketch your dream while you have breakfast. Insights will arise. Here is a day that is going to be favorable. The vibrations are going to allow you to start pushing ahead and discover new horizons. So, get involved with your family and friends and don't hesitate to communicate with them and open yourself up to new ideas. The atmosphere will be relaxed in your affective life and you will multiply the interesting contacts that you make. In your professional life, you will have a slight decrease in activity but nothing of any consequence. Keep the sense of curiosity and fresh outlook you have. Your family and friends so admire this in you. As the moon leaves your career sector today, this will bring the full moon this has created to a close, but not the momentum. As a full moon, this has the power to jump-start things professionally, but with Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, in his final weeks here before retrograding back out later in the month, he can keep the momentum going. A full moon can create pressure and bring wake-up calls, but this time, the timing couldn't be better. For the second time in just over 6 weeks, Mercury, the planet of communication, leaves your communication sector today, but this time there will be no do-over. Just days after Pluto's direct turn in your relationship sector, Mercury stayed on long enough to ensure the communication lines were open as the tide turns, but now leaves it up to you to keep them open. Our eyes in the sky. This is an interesting day that brings some cosmic relief to personal frustrations. The influence of Venus in Libra opposes the prolific energy of the healing centaur Chiron, adding perspective to the overall power dynamic of your life. Think of this as a reset, requiring you to grin and bear it. A loving bond between parties can help you to move forward. This week is all about your relationships and making you a lot more talkative about what you need. You're setting out to get that now by making your goals known loud and clear. You're changing the people you hang out with, and they're changing you in a good way. You'll make more money if you take their advice instead of fight against it. Paying attention to your self-care routines and feeling more confident in your skin is what it's all about right now. Maybe you've been neglecting the things you really love to do because you're just trying to navigate through the twists and turns of life. Romance and fun can be part of the day as well. You'll feel increased vitality and confidence. The influence of Uranus adds a little icing on the cake, and someone might even profess their undying love to you. You might not want to deal with anyone who brings you down, and for good reason. Mercury enters fair and peaceful Libra today, so it's a good day to schedule some time to yourself or even a therapy session just to get everything out in the open. Talking things out will not only help you but also be a stepping stone to moving relationships in the right direction. It's time to think about how you might be taking other people's word for money matters or buying into an investment scheme that's too good to be true. Someone may be giving you a hard sell concerning a stock, IRA, or bond. You need more time to consider the best path for you. Be firm but polite, and make sure you get the time you need. You know best. In the morning, Venus in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries, prompting difficulties in navigating our relationships. Although we intend to keep the peace, we feel as though we fail to rise to others' expectations. This sense that we are not enough, that we are a disappointment, weighs on us heavily. What we are confronting now is the reality that relationships are a balancing act. There is no way to maintain perfect harmony at all times, yet the fear of failure can cause us to want to throw in the towel altogether. A more mature, adult idea of love is required. We become our own worst enemies and we hold ourselves and our partners to impossible standards. Shortly following this, the Aries moon squares off with Pluto in Capricorn, causing us to act destructively. We are struggling to negotiate the Venus-Chiron opposition. Insecurities within partnerships drive us to behave unfairly with loved ones. We may guilt-trip another or pose a test for them to prove their love. Obviously, these tactics are likely to backfire. On the other hand, we might be a victim of manipulation tactics ourselves. If this is the case, it is a good thing that this behavior is being exposed, so we do not waste further time on a toxic power dynamic. However, the moon begins its void of course following this aspect's perfection that will last until afternoon. Avoid taking action now, as decisions will be made in haste, under emotional duress. Give yourself time to cool off before saying or doing something you may regret.